The alarm clock blared, cutting through the silence of the small, dimly lit apartment. 5:00 a.m. Jason groaned, reaching out to silence it. Another day, another battle between what he wanted and what he needed to do. For years, he had been trapped in a routine that felt like a slow death. Wake up, go to work, come home, repeat. He told himself he was fine, that one day things would change, that one day he'd finally take control. But that day never came. Jason had a list of excuses as long as his arm. I don't have time. I don't have the right skills. I'm too tired. I'll start next week. Every time he thought about making a change, whether it was starting his business, getting in shape, or fixing the parts of his life that felt broken, he talked himself out of it. And so, nothing changed. Until today. Today felt different. Because for the first time, he wasn't just thinking about change. He was sick of himself. Sick of waking up and feeling stuck. Sick of watching time slip through his fingers. Sick of making excuses for why he wasn't where he wanted to be. Jason sat up in bed, staring at the floor, heart pounding. Because a terrifying thought had entered his mind he couldn't shake. What if I never change? What if 5 years from now he was in the exact same spot? Same job, same paycheck, same body, same regrets. That scared him more than anything else, because he had seen what that looked like. He had seen coworkers waste their lives, counting down the days until retirement, only to realize they had spent decades waiting for a life they never built. He had seen people stay in the same toxic relationships, the same dead-end jobs, the same cycle of dreaming and never doing because it was comfortable. Jason knew comfort was a lie. It whispered to you that you were fine, that staying the same was safe. But deep down, he knew the truth. Comfort was a slow death. So, for the first time in his life, Jason made a decision. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. He swung his legs out of bed and stood up. This was it. He was done waiting. The battle within, the hardest part of change, isn't the work. It isn't the pain, the failure, or the setbacks. It's the moment when your old self fights to stay alive. Jason felt it the moment he put on his running shoes. The voice in his head was already screaming, "You're not a runner. You're out of shape. Just take today off. You'll start tomorrow." It was the same voice that had kept him stuck for years. The same voice that convinced him to hit snooze. The same voice that told him he wasn't good enough. But this time, Jason didn't listen. He tied his laces, opened the door, and stepped out into the cold morning air. The first step, it was slow. It was awkward. His legs felt heavy. His lungs burned. But he kept going, because he knew this was bigger than just a run. This was a war between the person he had always been and the person he wanted to become, and he refused to lose. The pain of change versus the pain of regret. His body ached. His mind begged him to stop. But every time he thought about quitting, he pictured himself 5 years from now. Did he want to be stronger? Better? A man who chose discipline over excuses? Or did he want to wake up one day and realize he had wasted his life waiting? Pain is unavoidable. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret, only one is temporary. So Jason kept running, one step after another. By the time he finished, he wasn't the same person who had stepped out the door, because he had done something his old self never would have. He had started. The day everything changed. Most people wait for motivation. They wait to feel ready. Jason had learned the truth. Motivation is a lie. You don't feel ready, you just start. And as he stood outside, watching the sunrise, he realized something. He wasn't just running, he was proving himself wrong. All the excuses, all the doubts, all the lies, they had no power over him anymore. He didn't need to be perfect. He didn't need to have all the answers. He just needed to keep moving, because every step forward was a step away from the person he refused to be. From that moment on, everything changed. Not overnight, not in a week, but every day, little by little, Jason built momentum. He woke up earlier. He pushed himself harder. He stopped blaming the world and started taking responsibility. And for the first time in years, he felt alive. The person you were meant to be. You see, Jason isn't special. He's just like you. A person with dreams, with fears, with self-doubt. The only difference? He made a decision. He didn't wait for the right time. He didn't wait for permission. He chose change. And that's the choice you have right now. 5 years from now, you will look back at this moment. Will you see someone who took action, who fought through the doubt, who stepped into their full potential? Or will you see someone who waited, someone who let another year, another decade slip away? You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You just need to take the first step right now. Because if you don't change today, then when? Your future is waiting, but it won't wait forever.